Do you know that Edo State can create 2 million jobs in a year? The resources in Edo can even create more than 2 million jobs, but let's just keep it at 2 million. Just look at Akoko Edo alone can create 1 million jobs. Just 1 million, just like that. The resources in Akoko Edo, if tapped in correctly, you know, when we talk about these things, we said if done correctly, if tapped in correctly, if it's looked into correctly, it will create more than 2 million jobs. Akoko Edo alone is blessed with a lot of resources. So just imagine Akoko Edo. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. We are not talking about gold in different parts of Edo State. We are not talking about different things. Okay, let's talk about the oil sector. Before, we thought that Edo doesn't have oil. But recently learned that Edo has oil. So let's just put the oil part on 1 million jobs. Even look at Ologbo. Ologbo has created, those companies in Ologbo within some period of time has created a lot of jobs. So just look at other parts of Edo State that has oil. But maybe we should also be asking the questions, all these jobs, are they Edo that are working inside, or they are just people working inside like other tribes? Because what is really important, that Edo people are working. So just the oil sector alone in Edo can create 1 million jobs. 1 million you might think is many, but it's not. When you think about 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, before you know it's 1 million. So 1 million jobs is not big. So the oil sector in Edo can actually create 1 million jobs if done correctly, if done well, because it is possible. So let's look at Benin City as a whole. Benin City can attract more than 3 million tourists from all parts of Edo State, from all parts of Nigeria and outside, and also Edo in diaspora also. Adding to it, it will just, because the Edo in diaspora, they're already up to 2 million or even more. So imagine Edo in diaspora, the rest of part of Nigeria and the other foreigners that comes to Nigeria visit Edo State. That means that if done correctly, if the tourism sector is looked in correctly, because all the things we are talking about is if done correctly, if it's looked into correctly, because it is possible, then it can create that. So just imagine Edo State receiving more than 3 million people in a year. Do you know the amount that will bring to the economy of Edo? You see the hotels, food, agriculture. The government is already investing in agriculture, craft work like Igun, carvers, many other ones. Imagine that. That is going to be a lot of money. Because these tourists that are going to come to Benin, they are going to spend money in the ancient city. So that additional is going to also more or less create 1 million jobs also. So when you really look at it, creating 3 million jobs in a year is not really difficult if done correctly and wisely and looked into, if well planned. So creating 3 million jobs in a year shouldn't be difficult in Edo State because we have the resources. Many of you don't know yet. I will tell you that Edo in diaspora, try start visiting home because there's a lot of opportunities. You see so many of us in Europe, we're struggling and struggling. Why the resources of our land is there? Maybe when you have to look deeper, you see that even the people that are not from Edo State are the ones benefiting from these resources. Why we that are from the States, where are we? We are in Europe, US, and struggling, while others are benefiting. So the aspirants, try and be part, support what is happening there, be a part of it, become investors. Because your city has a lot to offer. You don't know it yet, you don't see it yet, but there is a lot of resources. So we haven't even started looking into other resources. There's a lot of resources in Edo that even when you go to some areas in Edo State right now, you see wood, a lot of things. Who are the people tapping into that? Sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes it's the neighboring country that is taking, sometimes it's the neighboring state that is even taking advantage of their borders, the nearby, crossing over to tap into it. You know that we the Edos, we haven't really tapped into our resources because many of us have been away. Many of us just started discovering now that there is resources, a lot of resources on that land that we have not been aware of. We've all been thinking that Edo, oh, poor state, poor state. let me tell you, Edo is not poor state. Edo is one of the richest states. It's just that our resources has not been looked into. We haven't done much. We're just thinking that we don't have it, but we have what it takes. In all ways, the tourism sector, the factory sector, production, whatever, oh yeah, we have it all. But we can only benefit from it if it's done rightly, wisely, and looked into and know how to settle and create jobs. Because even if you have the resources, you need to learn how to manage the resources. You have to learn how to create jobs from the resources. That is the difficult part of it. And that is what our government is working on. That is what they are trying to do. That is what they are planning on doing. How do we use the resources that we have, create jobs, benefit from it in different ways, infrastructure? Because when you create jobs, then you get more taxes. People are going to pay tax to the government, and then the government is going to make money. The companies themselves are going to pay tax to the government also. So just imagine that those are just tax that will go to the government. So the government can actually collect tax from different sectors in Edo and have enough to manage the state before they get their money from even the federal. So I will tell you that it is possible. It is possible if done correctly with the private sector, because we also need the private sector in this. That is why investors are very important. The investors, that is why they are very important. But we also know that we have security issues, which they are also looking into. All these things together can really do well. Because the private sector, when you talk about the private sectors, who are the private sectors? They are the investors. They are people that come with money. And also with idea. You don't just come with money alone. You also have to come with idea. Because if you come with money alone, you might not be able to do much. Because the money cannot really solve the problem if you don't have the idea that you want to use. The packaging, what are you going to do? If you're investing in oil, what are you going to do it? If you're going to invest in other sector, what are you going to do? So the idea have the innovation, the initiative, everything have to come with it, not just the money alone. So as long as we need private investors that have the idea of what they want to do. And the direction, everything should point to also creating jobs, because that is the benefit of all these things. Create jobs, pay taxes to the government that the government will use in other things. That is what we need. After all, it's all about trying to make a living. And citizens need money. And what gives money is job. So that means creating job is what is very, very important in our city in order to also reduce crime. People that go to work, people that have work, any country that you see, they have a lot of people, job for their people. You see that the crime in that city also reduced down too. There's no city without crime, but when there's job for citizens, this crime will reduce. So we need more job in Edo, and we hope there will be more job. Because what? Edo has a lot of resources. So if you're planning on investing, planning to put your money there, just have to have good idea, great initiative, and I promise you, you surely make it back. So my name is Elizabeth Erativomo Haniza, the CEO of Visit Edo Limited. We want you all to visit Edo because the tourism sector, the ancient city of Benin, has a lot to offer. Yes, we are working really hard, gradually at the back. It will take some time, but we'll surely get there.